such a wild moment to end on that I was just like, I need a season 2 immediately. Hey, it's Kristen, and today we are talking about season 1 of the CW's Katy Keene. This is a show about a group of friends living in New York City going after their dreams. But before we get into it, I also want to mention, not sure if you guys noticed, but we got a little makeover here on this channel. I have a new banner and a new intro graphic, and I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my friend BRUNA who made them. Make sure to go check out her channel, BRUNA Full of Sugar. Not only is she an incredible artist, but she also creates awesome content about filmmaking and screenwriting. I definitely recommend you go check it out and subscribe to her channel. Thank you so much, BRUNA. Now let's get into the show. So consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and react along to Katy Keene with me. I would love to hear your thoughts. So Katy Keene is another show in the Archieverse, basically meaning that it's being adapted from the Archie comics. Our title character is played by Lucy Hale, and she is optimistic and enthusiastic and a professional shopper at Lacey's, but she really has dreams about becoming a fashion designer. We also have Ashleigh Murray reprising her role as Josie McCoy from Riverdale, and this show is set 5 years after Riverdale, so they're aged up a little bit. And you know Josie from Josie and the Pussycats, but here we're following her trying to achieve her goal of becoming a musician. We have Jonny Beauchamp as Jorge Lopez, who's an aspiring performer and also doubles as a drag queen named Ginger Lopez. And Julia Chan plays Pepper Smith, who's an entrepreneur but sort of has that kind of fake it till you make it vibe to her. You know, things are not quite as they seem. And so, you know, we're following this very strong group of friends who are always trying to lift each other up and support each other and be there for each other as they're each going for their dreams and goals. I think right off the bat it's very clear that this show definitely continues to follow that sort of Archieverse template, where there's just certain things that they kind of do in all of the Archieverse shows, sort of like crossovers or references to other series. So in addition to Josie being in the series, we also see cameos from her mom, Sierra, her stepbrother, Kevin Keller, even Hiram Lodge makes an appearance, which we will discuss a little bit later on. Luke Cook, who played Satan in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, actually appears in a new role. He has a pretty big arc in this series as Guy LaMontagna, who is a fashion designer and has a connection to Katy Keene. Another thing that I love about the show, which I also feel is very on brand with, you know, the Archie comics world, is the Broadway references, which I personally really love. You know, in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina this past season, they had songs from Spring Awakening and Sweeney Todd, and I was like, yes! On Riverdale, they usually do an episode based around a musical. They've done Carrie, they've done Heathers, they've done Hedwig, and in this show they also include a lot of music. Some of it is, you know, Josie's music or just, you know, different performances, but some of them are also, you know, Broadway songs. So they do My Strongest Suit from Aida, which, if you know me, Aida is like one of my favorite musicals of all time. I love the music of Tim Rice and Elton John. It's so good. So to see them do that, I was like, yes! They did Kiss of a Spider Woman, a whole episode around that. They also had Lucy Hale sing She Used to Be Mine from Waitress, which, oh my gosh, Waitress, it's such a good show, and Sarah Bareilles' music, oh, I just love it all. He also did Conga by Gloria Estefan, which could have been just like to bring in that Hispanic culture, but also there is a musical about Gloria Estefan's life that was on Broadway called On Your Feet. That could have been a reference to that as well, you know? So we got dual references going on here. I think this show is definitely more of a musical in general, and because of that, you know, we're in New York City. They also had so many great Broadway actors come in and make cameo appearances, from Bernadette Peters to Daphne Rubin Vega to Andre de Shields. They even had Shangela from Drag Race, which I thought was so cool. You know, I'm from New York. Broadway, drag, that is a staple. New York, that is a place where people live and dreams come true, and you know, I felt that kind of connection to it. It's fun, it's positive, it's optimistic, it's exciting, and it's uplifting. And I think not only is it just an uplifting show to watch, but it shows women supporting women, people discovering themselves, and I really think that Katy Keene especially goes on a journey that does feel like a coming of age story. You know, she starts off a little bit naive, I think, at the beginning of this season, and by the end, she's figured out how to stay true to herself and keep her integrity, and I think that's gonna help her make her dreams come true. And as much as this show is called Katy Keene, you know, it is definitely an ensemble. Everyone has their moments, their things that they're working on, their dreams, their goals, their kind of issues that they're struggling with. I gotta say, I felt bad for Josie because Xandra and the whole Cabots were really frustrating, but I think that all of their situations allow them each to grow and learn and really come to terms with what they are and aren't willing to do to make their dreams come true. I do want to talk about some of the things that I think we'll get into in a potential season 2, so there may be like some slight little spoilers. I don't think anything too crazy. First of all, I feel like this season ended in a way that sort of set up that Katy maybe has realized that she does still have feelings for KO, but he's going off to do some other things. Now she's in a new position where the prince is kind of back in the scene. And I feel like that could set up a potential love triangle in season 2. That's another great example of like, you know, Katy Keene has to choose between a boxer and an actual literal prince as love interest. You know, like that's where the show gets a little bit cheesy, but in a fun way, like in a way that I really enjoy, you know. It gives a little bit of that like heightened soapy feel, but you know, still very fantastical and whimsical and fun. There's also a moment at the end of this season where they're trying to save their block in the Heights, and then they're gonna have to deal with the fact that the person whose business venture got all messed up because of that is Hiram Lodge, which is interesting because we already know that he has a connection to Katy because Katy and Veronica are good friends, and now he's gonna come into the picture. Does that hint that he would have a bigger role in a season 2? That he would kind of be maybe one of the obstacles for them to deal with? The other thing, which I think is really interesting, is that, you know, as much as this show is about, you know, going for your dreams, there was this little hint of a mystery that they kept teasing throughout this season about Katy Keene and her family and who her real dad is, and they hint that her mother may have had relations with someone with the initials LL. And then we are introduced to the new owner of Lacey's at the end of this season, Leo Lacey, and the first thing that comes out of Katy Keene's mouth is, "I think you might be my dad." What? First of all, good for you being direct, girl, but also, what is that gonna mean? It's such a wild moment to end on that I was just like, I need a season 2 immediately. I personally really loved this season of Katy Keene. I think that this is definitely, you know, one of those shows that to me just kind of embodies everything that I really enjoy. You know, there's a little bit of a mystery. We got musicals. You know, we're going for our dreams. We got strong friendship. We got people uplifting each other. I know right now the show is not officially confirmed for a season 2 yet, but I'm hoping now that the season's over, it's gonna go to streaming and people will check it out. I honestly am telling you now, you should check it out. Let me have this show, please. Let me have a second season. I really enjoyed it. I personally would love to see them do an episode where they do sort of like a what if scenario of like, what if Katy had said yes to KO? What if Josie hadn't met Alex? And things like that. I actually thought that might be where the finale might go, but I think that'd be really cool to also see in a season 2. And if you need some musical numbers, just pull songs from If Then with Idina Menzel and Anthony Rapp. There you go. What a friggin' genius episode. If that happens, somebody better put me on that payroll. But just in general, I feel like the show could go in some really awesome directions, could really open up that mystery about Katy Keene and her family even more. Heck, maybe she's an heir to Lacey's. Or maybe there's some other LL that we don't know about, and they're just trying to, you know, give us a red herring. But also I think that this show could introduce even more really awesome Broadway cameos, include even more music. Like, I really loved those aspects of this show, and just the journey that our characters got to go on this season was a lot of fun, you know, diving into like the fashion industry and fashion week, and also the way that they sort of combined all the things that they love to do stuff together. You know, they might be doing a fashion show, but the Pussycats are performing, Ginger's walking the red carpet, and it's all happening at the Pepper Plant. You know, like, I just love how they are able to bring all the things that they love together to work seamlessly. When it comes down to it, I just really enjoyed Katy Keene. This was a show that just gave me so much joy during these dark times, so I think if you are someone who's trying to figure out like what's something like positive and uplifting that I can watch right now to distract myself, this is definitely it. I hope you'll check it out, and if you like this one, you can check out more of my Katy Keene and CW reviews right over here, and I'll catch you in my next video. See ya! Growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone, but you